My brother and mother don't get along. They actually don't even speak to each other anymore. My mom is a very rude and narcissistic and borderline racist person who actively spoke out against my brother's now wife, who is of a different race. They have, I guess, gone no contact. I don't know the proper term, but it was so bad that my mother and her side of the family wasn't invited to the wedding 3 years ago, although it was only a small ceremony. I was younger at the time, but I didn't really understand. I hate my brother for what he did. I played sports in high school, and last winter I tore my ACL. My mom, who thinks sports in high school are a waste, refused to pay for the surgery that I ultimately needed if I ever wanted to continue playing sports at 100%. Basically told me to go with physical therapy because it was cheaper. My parents both make great money and lavishly gamble hundreds, if not thousands, every other weekend in casinos. When my brother found out about what happened, he immediately offered to pay for it, saying that he believed sports in high school were important and that just as an overall quality of life thing. My mom was furious with me, and 2 months after my surgery, she had been ignoring, guilt-tripping me since, basically kicked me out to live with them. My brother and his wife Mia took me into their home with no questions asked. They both knew how my mom could be. I've been living with them for about 3 months now, and I'm starting to feel like a burden. While they both do have really nice jobs, they have been basically supporting themselves, along with me and Mia's younger sister Lily. She lives with them to be within a certain school distance. They are paying for all my medical bills, food, transportation, school-related things, basically everything, on top of paying for their new house. My brother and Mia both tell me just focus on my well-being, that they have more than enough to support me and her sister, and I should just be looking forward to playing sports again, applying to colleges, and doing well in school. But I overheard them talking in their room a few days ago about how they were ultimately going to put off having kids, and that they canceled their overseas trip to visit Mia's relatives in order to take care of us, and I felt sick to my stomach ever since. My parents don't want me back. I've tried reaching out to my mother, and she basically told me off for going against her. My brother and wife are telling me just to focus on myself and not worry about them, but I can't stop thinking about all the trouble I'm causing them. I feel even more horrible because they are doing all of this for me, but when they didn't invite my mother to their wedding, I felt so bitter and distant toward them. I was 14 at the time, but I vividly remember lashing out, trying to protect her, and my brother just smiling and telling me that he'd still be there for me and that someday I'd understand. I hate myself for that, and even after 3 years and endless apologies, I always find myself feeling guilty about it, which isn't helping me accept their kindness. I know there probably isn't much advice you can give, or if this is even the right place to post, but I'm at a loss. My friends don't understand my issue. I feel so hopeless, and I don't want to drag down my brother and his wife any longer than I have to. Am I looking at this or thinking about this the wrong way? I don't know how to cope with this. They wouldn't do it if they didn't want to. They obviously love you and want the best for you. The best thing you can do is not waste this opportunity and show them that you appreciate their efforts. Delaying kids and visits at 25 is not a big deal. You're more important. What your mom did was illegal. You should call CPS and report her for 2 reasons. 1, your brother may be able to get some kinship benefits from the state for fostering you, which will ease his financial burden. And 2, you formally need your parents' tax info to file a FAFSA and get financial aid for college. However, this could change based on your legal status and could be a huge advantage as it sounds like your parents make too much money for you to get aid. But you may now qualify. I guess the issue I'm having with this situation is kind of twofold. My boyfriend and I have been with each other for 4 years, living together for 3. His stepbrother, Will, is around our age and is getting married in April. I'm not invited to the wedding because apparently there are no plus ones. I am not sure why, but I know it's not a budget constraint. My guess is they are trying to keep it small and intimate. That would be whatever, but there's another layer here. I found out that my boyfriend's ex, Jen, is going to the wedding. Jen is a friend of Will's and is my boyfriend's most recent ex. She's been trying to weave her way back into my boyfriend's life for at least the past year, texting him, reaching out to him on social media, showing up at some of the same things he goes to. He went out drinking with a group the night before Thanksgiving last year, and she was there. He told me about it after the fact, and I expressed my displeasure. I don't know how much contact they've had since then. My boyfriend avoids conflict and confrontation like no other, so after the negative reaction I had to the Thanksgiving thing, I don't think he would tell me if Jen had been in touch. The first issue I'm having here is about the wedding itself. I know it's not my wedding, and the bride and groom can invite whoever they want. That being said, it's hard to not feel slighted. I feel like they don't respect my boyfriend's relationship with me. I guess it's probably not about me, and maybe I'm just paranoid. But I can't help feel like Will and everyone is pushing for my boyfriend to get back with Jen. Will brings up Jen casually when he's talking to my boyfriend, even if I'm standing right there. Like, "Oh, I've been meaning to tell you. I talked to Jen last week. She's doing really well. She just got a new job." My boyfriend wants all of us to be friends, and I'm not trying to be difficult, but it's hard when that type of thing keeps happening. Add to that not getting invited to the wedding, and it's hard for me to act like everything is okay. On top of that, I'm having a hard time dealing with my boyfriend's avoidance. The only reason I know Jen is going to be at the wedding isn't because he told me directly, but because I overheard him telling another friend about it. April is still a few months away, but unless I directly ask, "Will Jen be there?" I don't think he will tell me on his own until after he's already attended, and that's a problem for me. My question is, how should I approach this situation, both with Will, his family, and with him? I'm guessing your boyfriend already has a pattern of not sticking up for you with his family, and this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. The only real problem you have here is with your boyfriend. Avoidance taken to this level is basically lying. You need to decide if you trust him, and if you do, you need to knock off your jealousy and anxiety about his ex. Who gives a crap if she is some family member's favorite or texting your boyfriend? But I could never be with someone this avoidant because it would make me not trust them. He is not protecting you by not giving you the information you need. But you need to meet him halfway, and when he does address you directly with bad news, you need to keep your calm and thank him so he knows that being direct is less painful than being avoidant. I don't live near any family except my grandparents, who are in the next town over, and all my family lives spread out across the country. So when I was getting married last week, we had the wedding at my house and invited everyone here to celebrate with us on our wedding day. The plan was wedding at 3, reception at 4, and after party at 7 or 8 p.m. Everyone was invited to all 3 parts well ahead of time. The after party was set up so that we could actually spend real time with our friends and family, instead of all the stiff formalities of the reception. Wedding and reception were great. Then it was time to head outside for the after party. Half the wedding left, including my entire family. Not a single member of my family stayed. The next day, I found out that my sister had planned a gender reveal party at my grandparents' house for the same day as my wedding, and nobody told me. Nobody bothered to ask if I wanted to go. Nobody showed up to my party. Nobody even apologized for not coming. I had wanted to spend quality time with my family, but instead, they all just left. They had all flown in just for the weekend, so I didn't get to talk to them before the wedding, as it was all hectic from wedding prep. Then they flew out the next day. Now I don't even know how to talk to them. I'm just so mad. Especially at my sister for even considering to do something like this on what should have been my day. Wow, that's crappy. Beyond crappy. Honestly, this makes holiday decisions easier for the future. Go with the in-laws. Don't waste time and effort on those who do crap like that. I can see why your sister may have wanted to do a gender reveal with everyone in town, but in my opinion, she should have worked with you to integrate her plans with yours so that everyone could have enjoyed 2 great moments together. That would have shown the importance of closeness of family. Instead, she made it an either-or situation, and everyone lost out. About 4 years ago, when I was 14, I found out that my mother cheated on my father. I immediately told him, and this basically led to their divorce. My mother was self-centered and towards my father during their marriage. She also was barely involved in my life as a mother. My father was with me every step I took and was always there for me in my upbringing. Her infidelity basically crossed the line for me. She destroyed whatever was left of us as a family. I didn't want her in my life anymore. My father was granted full custody by my request in the divorce. I pretty much cut my mother out of my life, and apart from some texting, she isn't involved in my life, and that's how I want it to be. About a year after my parents separated, my father met his current fiancée. I was fully supportive of this relationship because it was great to see my father happy with someone who cared just as much about him as he does about her. For the past 3 years, my dad's fiancée pretty much grew to be my best friend. She has been involved, supportive, and helped me so much from the start. She has been able to support me in different ways than my father that have helped me greatly. She has definitely been a female role model in my life, and I can say that I have true love for her. She and my father are having their wedding this summer. She asked me to be her maid of honor, and I love it. But out of nowhere, my mother found out about this. I still have low contact with my mother, but we do text a bit. I did not tell her anything about this, but somehow she found out. She called me crying, saying it would break her heart if I were to be the maid of honor at their wedding. She went on a rant that she will always remain my mother and that nothing is going to change about that. I just told her that I didn't know what to answer. I 100% support my dad's fiancée and want to be her maid of honor. I want to make it clear to my mother that she has no say in what I do, but don't really know how to go about this. How can I make it clear that she has no say in my life without necessarily cutting her off completely? You don't need to explain it to her at all if you don't want to. It's your life. It's your choice. You being a maid of honor in your father's wedding and her being your mother have absolutely nothing to do with each other. I think it shows how selfish she is by crying over something as little as this. She cheated on your dad. He's found love again, and you found a friend. And by being your dad's fiancé's maid of honor, you are supporting and showing your love for them both. It's wholly unreasonable for your mom to try and emotionally manipulate you into not doing it. Tell her she has no right given her own past actions. Also, remind her you're supporting your dad and your friend. You're not doing anything else. My boyfriend has a close female friend from work. They have been friends since 2018, when he first moved to my state from New York for our relationship. In that time, these two have hung out numerous times, either alone or with their friends, and once went on a vacation to Atlanta together. Recently, I found out he purchased 2 lacy lingerie robe sets and a $50 kids toy for her son. I accidentally came across the Amazon receipt in his email. A few weeks later, I also found out that he had also sent her a $450 Marc Jacobs tote. He claims that these gifts are payback for their friendship, as she paid for him the majority of the time in the past. She even got him a separate hotel room during the Atlanta trip. I personally feel that these gifts are way past the boundary of what a guy should be purchasing a female who is not his girlfriend when he already has a girlfriend. Not to mention, I rarely get gifts of this type of magnitude from him myself. In the same time frame, my gift from him was a t-shirt and some sweatpants he bought in a gift shop on a layover in Nashville. While I was happy to receive a gift, it doesn't compare. I already broke up with him for this and other reasons. He insists that there is nothing wrong with celebrating his friend and giving these gifts. That's why I came to the community to help with some clarity on either his part or mine. Are these types of gifts something you would be okay with your significant other giving to a friend? You made the right call. Any friend who buys you lingerie isn't just a friend or is trying to not be just a friend. Also, she gets a designer bag and you get ducking sweats from an airport? Nah, I'd be done after that alone. Sounds like her friendship is worth more than your relationship. If he's not even going to consider that the gifts were excessive, he's not worth keeping. It's the thought that counts, right? But what was the purpose is more important here. Forget the bag. Why would any woman be comfortable if their boyfriend was buying lingerie for another woman? Sounds suspicious to me. My mother, female 58, lost her crap when I, non-binary 24, told her my girlfriend, female 22, is a twin. I was over at her place for Easter. I told her about my girlfriend who I've been dating for 6 months, and we haven't introduced each other to our parents. So she was asking me a bit. I showed her pictures of us, and when we got to one with her twin, she just flipped. Every time when I would try to tell her to calm down, she would just start screaming again. It was incoherent. Some bits were screaming about how gross this is. I was so confused and thought that she maybe thought I was dating both. So I told her that my only girlfriend was my girlfriend. She just kept saying we were gross and that it was sinful. Then she just kicked me out. My mom has blocked me. I am so confused. This is very weird. There really isn't a normal explanation for this. It's either that she has a secret twin somewhere, or she has a crazy religious objection to twins, or that you're a secret twin and this brought back some sort of trauma. I don't know, OP. Or she might legitimately be having a psychotic break. She won't talk to you, so it's kind of hard to ask her directly. Can other family members help you?